All right, beautiful people, let's have a little talk. Hope that you enjoy the drawing that you will be seeing for the next 5 minutes. I sometimes hit a wall, and when I hit these walls where I'm having a hard time getting a likeness, usually the best thing I do is separate myself from my digital design and I move to other formats. This is the finished piece that you're watching right now. And I find that it really helps me loosen up a little bit because, quite honestly, it's very easy to get stuck in the mire of what you're used to. And you begin to draw faces the same way, you begin to look at things the same way, and sometimes you just need to separate yourself a little bit. Sometimes it comes down to flipping the art and drawing it upside down. Something I find useful is to flip the canvas the opposing direction so it's facing the opposite direction to make sure you can check your likenesses. But sometimes you gotta go full tilt crazy and get out all the pencils and the paper and actually draw things from scratch and try a fresh look. Doesn't always work, but truth be told, if you're doing caricatures for money, and you're having a struggle, you got to do whatever you can to get in that caricature and get it completed. And I find oftentimes, as much as I hate to put something down and leave it for another day, sometimes you got to let that brain clear a little bit and you got to get like restored. And you come back and you try again the next day. I also find that if I look at too many pictures, too many reference photos, I often get very confused. Because if you look at a person in many different lighting scenarios, in many different events and things, whether they're in their own home or out at a special event, dressed for a gala or something big and crazy, or just keeping it simple, hanging out with their kids, they're going to have a different expression, a completely different face. The lighting is going to show more or less wrinkles on the face. It's going to show a lot of details that maybe you might not catch. And that's when it's helpful to find one picture that the client usually would approve of. And so what I find is best is to find that one picture that the client obviously has for themselves that they like. And usually I trust Facebook because if a client has uploaded a picture to Facebook, it's probably because they like that picture of themselves. And so, that being said, I usually try to find a picture that still is flattering but is realistic. And usually I like finding those caricatures that are a 4/3 perspective. And I find that that's very beneficial because, quite honestly, you want to make sure you can get all the details of the face. And the 4/3 shows how long the nose is, shows how far the mouth can go across the face, shows a lot of important details like how big the eyes are and things. So there's a lot of little details that you want to catch, and the 4/3 perspective usually helps. Being able to go through someone's Facebook page and pick one usually helps a lot. And by the time I'm done getting the piece done, usually they don't second guess the decision that I made for their art. But if you find yourself in a scenario where you're struggling, go to them and say, hey, this picture that you sent me or this picture that I found isn't quite what I'm looking for. Is there any way that you can snap another picture of yourself for me? Do a quick selfie in some good light, walk outside and take a picture of yourself, and then step back from your normal procedure. And I mean whatever you choose to do, whether it's pencil, whether it's pen, whether it's hand painting. Take a break from that design and try something different. Be different. Stretch your brain. Try to find ways to twist and bend to make things work for you. Sometimes that's all you can do. That's all we can do. And you just got to breathe in, breathe out, and just keep trying. That's literally what it comes down to. Anyway, I hope that this was a quick tip that you enjoyed. And of course, this little speed drawing of a little drawing out of my sketchbook. I just used some pencils I got for Christmas. And they're just basic Prismacolor Scholars. And if you want to try those, they're pretty good. I think usual Prismacolors would probably be better, but I really don't have much experience with colored pencils. So other than that, guys, thank you so much for watching. Would love it if you'd consider subscribbling. That's what we like to say here instead of subscribing, because we're artists. We're crazy like that. Stop on by my Patreon, patreon.com/TimMichaelArts, and consider donating $1 per video. And it means a lot to me. It's a super help. And of course, you can set limits. Also, stop by Draw2Much.com to get my advanced drawing tutorials at a good price. Or if you become a patron, you get all those for free, other than the $1 that you're donating per video. And finally, stop by LegacyStudioProductions.net, where you can see all of my crazy things that I do across the 7 YouTube channels that I have here on YouTube. Thank you so much for hanging out with me on my favorite channel here on YouTube, Draw2Much. God bless you guys. I'll see you next time.